Australia that's a support group for, I'm just signing if it's okay. You know sign language as well. 3 deaf children, and you set up a support group called Thrive. Do you know like Thrive that helps sort of parents all over South Africa. That's right. Joy, can you tell us a little bit about Thrive, because we have our own sort of support group and we'd like to be something similar to yours and maybe link with you in the future.
Yeah, sure. It's okay if I look at you.
Yes, look at me.
Okay. Well, when we started the journey, it was very lonely as a parent of their children, and I ended up linking up with parents abroad and realized just how amazing that kind of support could be.
Is that in America?
Yeah. Hands and Voices America.
Hands and Voices.
Yeah, and then last year I went to the FCI Congress in Austria.
FCI, which is
Family Centered Early Intervention.
Family Centered, okay, cool.
And that was my first time that I really had an opportunity to meet, chat, and see that we all have had similar starts. We have similar challenges ahead of us, and these are the people I can share my victories with, who really understand and can celebrate with me, and also share the difficulties with and brainstorm possible solutions. So it was key. I came back all excited to try and start something here, to link parents together, to get our voice heard.
And so how many families or parents do you have in your sort of group? And it was only last August.
So about 6 months old.
6 months. Ooh, it's a little baby.
Yes, it is. And at the moment we mostly local in this province at the moment, because it's where we've started. And we have 60 families that we're supporting.
60?
Here.
Wow, that's great.
There are families throughout South Africa though that we provide the support with long distance, and we hope to...
You're doing an outreach.
We're doing an outreach in our province, that's to another 20 families.
So that's 60 and 20, so 80 families.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then possibly next year we'll be going full force into another province, so then we will be a national program.
Wow.
But we're calling ourselves the star of a national program now because there are families in other provinces that we are supporting.
And the families, are they how interested are they? And
well, we have families with different kind of levels of wanting to be involved, let's say, and a lot of them are just totally sold out to getting together, to identifying the challenges that we all have, especially choices that we get offered, the bias involved there.
And they're quite limited, those choices, aren't they?
They're different for different areas in South Africa. So different families, depending on what socioeconomic background you come from, you have different choices available to you.
Because they don't have, many of them, cochlear implants isn't an option.
It's not an option. A lot of families are forced to send their children to boarding school where they see them 4 times a year. As a result, so the challenges are different and diverse. But there's grief, and so is hope.
Yes.
So we still can connect. I've met with families whose backgrounds are very different from our own, and there was a connection.
Because you're a doctor, is that right?
I am a doctor.
Like a GP, general practitioner.
I am a GP. My work though is with pediatrics specifically. It's a bit different here in South Africa.
Yeah.
And so from that side I understand the perspective from the medical model.
Yeah.
Which we are challenging.
And you are, so it's interesting because you're like a doctor who sort of has come from the medical model, which sort of hearing impaired, but you're really pro sign language inclusion, deaf identity, deaf power empowerment.
I'm pro something that's not biased. So I'm pro giving those various options to a parent, to a family, and for them to be able to assess their own child and make an individual decision.
Yeah.
The bias is limiting. It is, as a friend of mine what he says, non-benign.
Non-benign.
And I've felt that myself. I've seen families being stuck in their process of grief, unable to make any further decisions because of
that
the
grief.
bias.
You're talking about that grief, and it is a grieving process.
It sure is a grieving process.
And parents need counselling, and they need support, and they just need a helping sort of hand to know they're not alone. Yeah?
And parents need to be shown all the options. With information at the level that they can understand, understanding the consequence of various options, and that's not happening.
Yeah, that's not happening. That's a parent support group.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. We have a parent support group. It's very small. It's only a baby the same as you, but we hope that we might be able to link with you, maybe even see you at some of these conferences. You said there's one in Austria.
Yeah,
Is it next year?
FCEI is every 2 years. The next one is in June next year.
in Austria? Because we can just fly there. That would be fantastic.
Well, it was life-changing.
Life-changing. In what way? In just...
Well, just to get the big picture, to meet parents who have been there, done that, who are strong, who are excited, who have great ideas, who understand the same challenges, linking up with them, hearing their stories, and becoming part of a unit that, although it's global, suddenly connected.
And you said the scholarships, like parent scholarships?
Yeah, they do have parent scholarships. Depending on how many people go every year, it depends on what gets covered. But it certainly helps. Anything helps to some degree.
Professionals? Can professionals go? Like me?
So there's mostly professionals that go.
Oh,
Parents is a smaller sector, though we'd love people to come, as far as I know. I mean, I only went once. But the professionals that went are the world specialists in their fields in early intervention, and it was just so humbling for them to have supper with them and chat about their own kids, to hear what's happening, to hear them encouraged in various areas.
And you're also part of, is that linked to the G-Pod you were saying?
So G-Pod is, we are in the process of going from strength to strength, and I've been
And G-Pod is?
The global coalition for parents of deaf and hard of hearing children.
Parents of deaf and hard of hearing children.
Yeah, and essentially it's an attempt to draw families from all over the world to have representation.
And you are the representative for South Africa?
Yeah. And to figure out how we can support each other internationally on our journeys as parents, how to also tap into the professional resources out there, people that are able to give us support information, how to support each other with challenges that are the same to various countries, as well as how to support those countries where the challenges are different, because we have the same goals, we have the same heart.
This is the same aim. I mean, deaf children are deaf children.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where they're from.
Exactly, and that's, so at the moment we're having meetings by Skype.
Skype?
Yeah, every 2 months, and those are always...
2 months, is that like group Skype?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and now we've just broken into various smaller committees, and we're going to liaise more frequently than that, to try and get some actual goals and
Ooh, so you're part of the strategic committee that's developing everything. That's fantastic. Oh, it's exciting.
And I'm the baby mom in it all.
You're the baby. They're all
it's just, I'm so keen for them. It's amazing.
So I would say good luck with that, and we hope that we might be able to join in with that, with our sort of family support group. But you were saying we were having a discussion about inclusive education and what that actually means in South Africa, and I was telling you about our Eastbury, that's our sign, by the way, Eastbury, our Eastbury model with the deaf provision, and hopefully becoming the first sign language inclusive school, and we have 900 children and about 100 staff, and all of them are really keen to sort of learn sign language, and we hope to use sign language as our sort of universal language across the school. Now, when I was telling you about this before, the look on your face was you were a bit sort of shocked, and you've been asking me lots of questions on how that works. And hopefully you can come and see us. It would be lovely to come and visit us. What are some of the challenges that you have in South Africa, and what sort of things would you like to see for like your children? Because they want to be doctors or vets. They want to be a vet.
They want to be something that they want to be.
Yeah. And what are some of the challenges you have as a parent, or some of the visions and things you'd like to see here in South Africa, and maybe how we might be able to help and work with you, and what sort of things you'd like?
Well, I think primarily is that I want my children to have equal opportunities to any hearing child.
And that's not happening.
Well, I mean, I think there have been, I know that there have been deaf graduates from schools with deaf that have been successful in achieving their goals.
Yeah, but they're not linked with like a secondary school, because that doesn't happen here, does it?
No. Here, from what I've investigated and found out so far, to be mainstreamed or fully included, one would need to be fully oral, usually a proper implant user, and be put into a mainstream school without supportive...
So without an interpreter or without...
No, so it's oral.
Really?
So trying to find the best of both worlds, where you have your child able to access the best possible education for them, that's on par. So when I say the best, I'm just saying education that's on par with a school that you would have otherwise chosen had they been hearing. Without limitations on their access. That's a difficult combination.
The access is a big issue.
Access is a big issue, and sometimes I suppose we feel like we've chosen a bilingual, bicultural approach for our particular family. Mostly because we've got 3 and we're not sure
exactly.
that one size is going to fit all.
Yeah.
So we've chosen that approach and now looking at what that offers our kids.
Because you've chosen the bilingual, bicultural approach, which for people who don't know means, deaf identity and sign language is your sort of first language, and English is sort of the same, parallel. Do you feel that it has limited some of your choices?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are limited to schools for deaf.
You're limited, yeah. And whereas people who choose the oral route have had more choices.
Well, they might have more choices, but they may not have had full access to everything they get to.
But it's still, yeah. So there's a disparity in the deaf world, yeah.
We would have to, with the level of hearing, our children's hearing levels, we would have had to opt for a cochlear implant. And we've made the choice, but now we're going to have to significantly think out the box. We are not ever going to just sit back and let life happen for our children. So we might have chosen a bilingual, bicultural approach and therefore had them listed for the deaf. But the minute we hit any obstacle, we're going to face it, we're going to deal with it, we're going to overcome it.
So what you would like to see is a bilingual, bicultural provision or accessing sort of equal mainstream education. So your children to be able to access an equal mainstream education like hearing peers, but still keep their deaf identity and have sign language as well. That's what you'd like to see?
I want them, their literacy to be flawless, like any other child that would go to a school that's hearing for young children. But at the same time, because they are profoundly deaf, I would want them to lose out on anything in terms of access. So what you're saying is exact. That would be our dream.
Well, dream. Hopefully, that's what we're hoping to set up at Eastbury. It'd be lovely if we could make some links and perhaps come over and do some training, and you'll have to come and visit us and see what we can do for the future, because we're setting up Eastbury Global. We might have to start our first in South Africa. What do you think?
Well, we're spearheading everything so far as a family.
So we'll work together.
Hey, I'm not scared of you.
You're not scared of new. We're not scared of new either, being the first. So I think we found a good partnership with South Africa.
Well, are you going to the ICED? Because going to that and being quite excited to see what's happening internationally with regards to education.
That's the ICD, is the International Conference for Deaf Education. Deaf Education. So you're going. Are you going just to watch, or are you going as a presenter?
No, I'm going to watch. I'm going to soak. I'm going to make connections.
Well, I hope it'd be lovely for Eastbury to get out there and get our name out there. We're very new, but we really want to get out there. So hopefully I can.
It would be a great opportunity for us to reconvene this discussion.
And you said, and to link with other people from all over the world.
Yeah.
From what you've seen and what you've heard, our model is that, have you heard of it in many places, what we're trying to do?
I've heard of the Willie Ross School, I think it's in Massachusetts, but stands to be corrected, in the USA, that try to, they have 2 schools. They have schools for the deaf, and then very nearby they have
2 campuses.
Yeah, so they have 2 campuses, and they integrate the campuses depending on the individual child.
Yeah.
So the child has a peer group that consists of both deaf and hearing. They could choose when they want to spend their various teas or whatever with whoever, and they also then have a limitless kind of subject choice.
So that's in America. That's the only one you've really heard of.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to be the first in Europe. Wouldn't that be great?